Welcome to Strictly Facts, a guide to Caribbean history and culture, hosted by me, Alexandria Miller. Strictly Facts teaches the history, politics, and activism of the Caribbean and connects these themes to contemporary music and popular culture. Wagwan family, and welcome back to another episode of Strictly Facts, a guide to Caribbean history and culture. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that one of my first loves in the entire world is reggae music. If not for its abilities to pay tribute to and carry forward our history, which I'm all about, of course, I don't think I could even put into words how reggae makes me feel. Whether it's through my AirPods or at a stage show, it's one and the same. I would give you all my top 5 favorite reggae artists, but that would take us down a wildly different conversation. So today, I'll just mention one of them. In honor of his impending 77th birthday, born Winston Hubert McIntosh on October 19th, 1944, Peter Tosh was an acclaimed Rastafari reggae musician, perhaps best remembered as a member of the Wailers, alongside Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer. He was born in Grange Hill in Westmoreland, Jamaica, and grew up in the church, the foremost site where Tosh honed his music skills, from singing in the choir to playing the piano and guitar, undoubtedly preparing him for his later career. As a teenager, McIntosh moved from rural Westmoreland to Trenchtown, the urban neighborhood in Kingston, Jamaica, often hailed as the birthplace of rocksteady and reggae music. In Trenchtown, McIntosh began learning about Rastafari and met his later or future band members, Robert Bob Marley and O'Reilly Bunny Wailer Livingston, through vocal lessons he took with popular reggae artist Joe Higgs, part of the duo Higgs and Wilson. Higgs served as an early mentor for the young band and countless other musicians. Founded in the early 1960s, McIntosh, Marley, and Livingston went through a series of name changes until finally settling on the Wailing Wailers, which they later shortened to the Wailers. The group originally featured Beverly Kelso, Cherry Smith, and Junior Brathwaite as vocalists. McIntosh eventually changed his name to Peter Tosh and made his mark on the Wailers' music using his longtime skills as a self-taught guitarist and keyboardist. The Wailers found quick success with songs like Simmer Down, Get Up and Stand Up, and Stir It Up in the 1960s and 70s, songs that I'm sure many of us grew up listening to. They even recorded songs alongside musicians and producers like Lee Scratch Perry, who sadly passed away in August, and American singer-songwriter Johnny Nash. After roughly a decade, the original group disbanded, with Tosh and Livingston leaving after disagreements with the Island Records label executive Chris Blackwell. Tosh subsequently went solo and released his debut album Legalize It in 1976. His title track, and one of his most renowned songs, Legalize It advocates for the legalization of marijuana and was even banned in Jamaica upon its release. He later amassed nicknames like Stepping Razor after covering the song of the same name, and Bush Doctor, the name of his third album. Bush Doctor featured artists like Jamaican duo Sly and Robbie, as well as track Walk, Don't Look Back, a duet with Mick Jagger that was co-composed by Smokey Robinson. He was also the first international artist to sign to Rolling Stones Records, and in addition to Bush Doctor, released albums Mystic Man and Wanted Dead or Alive in 1979 and 1981, respectively. Tosh was both a passionate artist and activist who was very forthright in his views. From marijuana legalization to the connections between Christianity and colonialism, and even in talking about Black freedom, his critical opinions reigned throughout his music and public persona. He was a fervent supporter of justice for all, including the anti-apartheid efforts in South Africa, where he self-exiled for a brief time. Off his 1977 album and title track, Equal Rights, he sings of the down-pression from Jamaica to Zimbabwe and even to Palestine, repeating, "I don't want no peace. I need equal rights and justice." He spoke out in support of marijuana legalization at Bob Marley's 1978 One Love Peace concert in Kingston. In reference to Jamaica, he openly spoke about And I quote, the Black inferiority, brown superiority, and white superiority that rule this little Black country, end quote. And also said that he would be the constructive awakener of the Black masses of the world, so them know themselves and others know what Black people supposed to be and where, end quote. Tosh was famous for unicycling as well as his M16 shaped guitar. He released a total of 7 albums, even winning a posthumous Grammy for the Reggae Album of the Year for his final compilation, No Nuclear War, in 1988. Sadly, Tosh and friends Wilton Doc Brown and DJ Jeffrey Free Eye Dixon were killed in a home invasion on September 11, 1987, that injured many more. The Steppin Razor's legacy lives on today through his music and family, a monument in Negril, museum in Kingston, and a mausoleum also run by his family in Westmoreland. To learn more about the Bush Doctor, I'd be remiss if I didn't give my Strictly Facts sounds. Some of my favorite songs, like 1972, Here Comes the Judge, where he sings of ordering colonial infiltrators like Columbus and, I quote, Alexander, so-called the Great, to his court, and speaks out against colonizers and enslavers. Also check out the Steppin Razor Red X documentary, the biography, Steppin Razor, The Life of Peter Tosh by John Missouri, and countless other songs more recently published, like Chronix's Black is Beautiful, that mentions the reggae legend. In closing, we just want to wish a happy early birthday to the Steppin Razor himself. As always, we hope you enjoyed this little bit of Caribbean history, and check out all of our resources online now. Little more, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Strictly Facts. Visit strictlyfactspodcast.com for more information from each episode. Follow us at Strictly Facts Pod on Instagram and Facebook, and at Strictly Facts PD on Twitter.